Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Dragon Age Origins. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're supposed to join me today in, what do they call this? The Dalish camp. It doesn't actually, it's just the camp where the Dalish live, and we were talking to people around here. And, we're just going around and getting to know everybody.
Grey Warden.
Thank you. Just going around. There's an elf girl over here, can't talk to her though.
Going.
That's mine. It is mine, because they don't mind. And there's somebody here with an exclamation mark. Wasn't there a pile of bags over here? Pile of sacks. Ooh, Darmisu. Just a normal weapon, as far as I can tell. I'll still take it. And there's a chest. There's a love letter in here. A note between wealthy paramours. Oh, it's just... okay. Right there. A collection of embarrassing... oh, there's more. Okay, I think he's the first one. A delicate matter. While I am overjoyed at the prospect of having you an unwelcome guest requires that you excuse yourself. Buy the postern of my estate to avoid a mark upon our reputations. Yeah, I think that's the that might be the wealthy paramour, just, which probably means noble rather than wealthy, or not. It's I think it is that. And they're just sort of, they must not have paramours. They have what's the arranged? I think the word is arranged marriages, because that's how nobles do. Hi.
Anathara, Grey Warden.
Indeed. Oh, by the way, I've enabled subtitles for everything, not just for conversations, so they will show up more. We'll see how that works. Oh, that's right. I also want to go. That's right. That's why I'm confused as to where I'm gonna go. I also want to go into our camp. And, of course, Kamon.
Hello?
Hello yourself? Who are you?
I am Kamon, a hunter apprentice. Though I wish I could become a real hunter.
And he spends his life brooding over that. The fact that he can't become a real hunter. Because he can't. Why can't you?
I shouldn't be talking about this to an outsider. You wouldn't understand.
Try me. I might surprise you.
I suppose there's no harm in it. It's not like you can help me.
Are all these bears such cringing, ineffectual creatures?
I've been an apprentice for too long. To become a true hunter, I must bring back the pelt of a beast I killed myself. A boar or a wolf or something. I wanted to hunt in the forest, but we're forbidden to enter because of the attack. But the real problem is Gaina.
There's so many buts in that sentence. And I noticed that the second time he said but. And I was gonna... my implicating spirit was propped up, and I was like, I'm gonna say something. And then I decided not to say. But then he's in love with Gaina. Well, I guess he's in love with her. Might be that she's bullying him or something, and that's why she's the problem. Like the camera was doing weird things. I'm thinking he's in love, and so they're good together. They fit together. You mean the young woman by the fire that upset me last episode?
She's my heart's desire.
That's the one.
I have asked for her hand, but she cruelly refuses it. She will not bond with an apprentice, she says, and calls me a child. I am no child. If I was a hunter, I could prove it, but I cannot hunt, and Gaina will never bond with me. I feel so helpless. I shouldn't have brought it up. Just leave me to my misery.
Cruelly denied you. There must be some way to solve your problem.
You think I haven't thought about this? There's nothing I can do.
Perhaps I could talk to Gaina for you?
I suppose you could, but what good would that do? The situation hasn't changed.
Is he deliberately thick, or am I being too picky on what he's saying here? Because I'm not voicing all of my complaints with all of his line, but all of his line. Just the situation hasn't changed. No, because I haven't talked to her, you doorknob. And that's just the one. Yeah, I can be pretty persuasive. I mean, you should be pretty persuasive. She doesn't like you. What do you want? What is this? Have you tried wooing Gaina? I guess if she's not receptive, that wouldn't be wooing. That would just be bothering. Let's go with that.
Wooing? I don't understand.
They don't have that in elves. Have you tried giving her a gift?
A gift? No, that wouldn't be appropriate. Not before we're married.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Yeah, you were talking about bonding and the line right there. I didn't. So, how about really showing your love? Which I think is what he was saying by hunting real.
I've serenaded her, and we've talked many times under the moon. But that doesn't matter if I'm still an apprentice. Not to her.
Might be misunderstanding the situation here. Then why do you bother?
Because I love her. I really do. I wouldn't expect you to understand.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, let me think of something else then.
Such as?
I'm not gonna get him the pelt. Why not go into the forest anyway?
But the keeper said... No.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
I just can't. What if I encountered a werewolf?
That's true.
I couldn't defeat one of those on my own.
That's right. Why not come with me then?
The keeper would know right away if I left camp.
Yeah.
Masiranis for the offer, however. That's very kind of you.
Fine. Have it your way. Huh. So I think the, either it's a quest for later, or I really need to ask if he, quote, bedded her, unquote.
We few wanderers greet you, friend.
Thank you.
We do not see many of our city brethren here in the woods. Would you help us break our fast?
Help you break your fast? You mean I should hunt, or do you need help cutting the bread? I would like that.
Come then and sit. Join us by the fire.
What does it mean, help?
I am Cyril, the clan's tale-teller. I understand you are venturing into the haunted forest to save our hunters. I suspect your efforts may be in vain. An entire group of our hunters went into the forest to do as you intend, and they have not returned.
If I'm lucky, maybe I can find them.
An outsider to the rescue, but of course. What were we doing trying to solve our own problems?
That's a good point. I'm just trying to help your people.
Nothing will help us now. Least of all the meddling of an outsider.
You are being most unkind, Cyril. Would you refuse our hunters' help simply because of the hand that offered it?
You shame me, Lethalan. I have allowed my bitterness to cloud my better judgment. Forgive me, Grey Warden. It is most difficult to forget the lessons the Shemlin have taught us. Perhaps I can yet make amends. Stay while I spin a tale for our children. And then I will tell you of the forest if you desire.
I would still like the breakfast thing that you mentioned, but sure. What children? That children? Child? Yeah, I like that.
Come and join us then, all of you. Now, what say we tell the story of the fall of the Dales? Which of you children knows that best?
Are they all children?
I think I do.
Yes? Then come, child. Oh, don't be frightened of the outsiders. Now, where do you suppose such a tale should begin?
When we were slaves?
Yes. Long ago, our people were slaves to an empire the Shemlin had built on the darkest magic. They took away our history and our language and left us nothing. And then that empire fell, and we were freed.
Because Andraste came with her army, and Shartan joined her.
Yes. Andraste, the Shemlin prophet, came out of the south and challenged the Tevinter Imperium. Our ancestor, Shartan, fought at her side. And when the rebellion came to an end, we were given a new homeland in the west, the Dales. We began to rebuild the culture and history we had lost in our years of slavery. We worshipped the creators and made the Dales our home. Perhaps you know what happened next, stranger. Do you know what happened to the Dales?
I think I learned about this. Saying you were invaded by humans, I think is true, but it might be a little bit simplifying things. Which humans might be the next question. Yeah, let's go with that.
Indeed. They resented that we would not worship their maker, and they resented our ways because they were so different from their own.
Wait.
The Shemlin nations grew cold towards the Dales. They called us blasphemers and tyrants, and declared war upon us. A great crusade.
That makes something is making sense in my head right now. Somebody commented, I can't remember exactly whom, but who they did. I don't have the comment up on my other screen right now. But somebody commented that the elves don't worship the same creators as the humans. Maker and creator, potato, really. And I figured that it would be just a different name because it would make sense for them to not, use the same words because just different cultures and all that sort of stuff, but still have a similar sort of religion, especially with all the similarities that they seem to have. But he said their maker, as if maker is a word. Like John. We don't worship their John. That sounds okay. But you know what I mean? It's like, does it mean... I'm not really sure how that works. If I want to be unkind to the game, I will jump to the conclusion that what he's really talking about here is they don't believe in their god. Not necessarily worshipping their maker. They don't believe in their god. And I don't remember if I mentioned something about this in a previous episode. I think I did, and I never finished the conversation. There is a thing called... so we know what monotheism is, which is... basically, it's a religion that focuses around... Basically, it's a religion that believes there is only one god. That's where mono and theism comes from. But there is a thing, and the term is not historical, so it's just it's got hundreds of years. The term does, but it's not. The practice comes from millennia ago, but it's a more or less recent term, which is called monolatry or monolatry or something, which is a religion that specifically worships one god, but doesn't deny the existence or even the legitimacy of worship of other gods. And I don't remember if the Romans were used as examples by the people or by the historians that coined the term, the monolatry. It's basically, instead of theism, is latry, because it means idol or worship, or I think it means worship. I'm not really sure, because idol also means worship. It comes from the same origin anyway. It's one of my pet peeves, honestly, because it's so rarely done in fantasy settings. It's done sometimes in fantasy settings, and certainly it is done in Dungeons and Dragons, which is also so weird as well. In Dungeons and Dragons, basically, you're a paladin of Elm, and you worship Elm, and you don't like Cyric, or is it Cyric, the god of... I don't know, there's some god of evil or something. It's not evil, it's like god of thieves. You don't like Cyric, but you're not going around being like, oh, Elm is the true god, for I have seen his work. And it's like, oh, for Helm has talked to me, and he's the true god, and everybody else is wrong. That's not how it works in Dungeons & Dragons, because there's a whole pantheon. And it's not even a pantheon as in the same religion, it's just there's a freaking huge amount of gods, because it's all also related to a bunch of things and whatnot. And sometimes in video games, you just have monotheism in the purest of senses, where it's exclusive, and if you believe one religion, if you believe the maker, it's at the expense of even the existence, let alone the worship or the rights of anybody that worships those gods, but even the very existence of the other gods. So that's just, I mean, it's still totally valid for sure, but it's just smacks of lazy. Please don't be like that. But it's so calm. I'm not calling this game out in specific. I'm calling everybody out. Everybody that does it. Because it's so much more interesting when just gods are interesting, and then they are just have all the different ways of seeing the world and whatnot. Because it's just what fantasy is for. It's what fiction is for. So we can think of different things and be confronted with different situations. But what I'm thinking, just to bring it all back to the reason why I'm talking about this, I think what he's really talking about here is, and now that I look at it back to what he's saying over here, blasphemers. Yeah, it was a religious, and that's another pickle that I have as well. Blasphemers here probably cements my theory that they were basically, the humans said, no, your god is wrong, mine is right, so I'm gonna call you a blasphemer and tyrants and declare war upon you. A great crusade, though. Unfortunately, they use the word crusade, which is specifically related to Christianism, and, well, it's not that it's not right to use it. You can definitely use it. It's just sort of, it's specifically related to Christianism. It's like using the word church, or like using the word jihad, or I don't know other words. There's a bunch of Jewish words, but I don't know them. Anyway, I don't know many words, but it's specific to Christianism, and I guess, well, that's why that's just another pointer, because when somebody lives in a country that is vast majority in a specific religion, it's easy to learn certain concepts, certain ways of thinking as just the way it is, and just be so ingrained in you as a writer, because this is of course by the writers. It's so easy for them to just have that so ingrained in them that they never even question it or the origins. And I am being super unkind to the writers, because it might not be the case. That I might be wrong on this, and I hope I am, of course. But I do see this from time to time. Just people don't realize, not just with the way they use the words, but just even in going back to what I was saying before, the whole notion of monotheism versus monolatry, or however it's pronounced. When it's just specific to a specific religion, or to a group of religions, or to, yeah. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's a war we started, I'm told. We as in elves. You say that like there was no reason for it. Interesting, let's go with that one. This one is just being like, yeah, but not all humans, right?
Oh, I am certain we played a part in our downfall. We believed that the Shemlin would not revoke their prophet's gift so lightly. We were wrong. They took our lands, forcing us to abandon our gods and live as beggars in Shemlin cities.
You should have fought. You should have fought to the last of you. Better that than to submit.
Oh? Is it not the Kunari way to force others to submit? Surely that would not be your advice to my people, were they attacked by the mighty Kunari.
That would be different. The Kunari would improve your people. The humans have improved nothing.
Perhaps. Even so, many of us did fight. We fought, and we lost. But there were those of us who refused to abandon our ways. They emblazoned the symbols of the creators upon their flesh, and vowed to keep their ancient lore alive.
That's us. That's the Dalish.
Indeed, child. We chose to wander, homeless, rather than be ruled by the Shemlin. And all our clans wander alone until the day we have a homeland once more.
Then we bring the old ways back to our people, because they have forgotten it all.
For we are the Dalish, the keepers of the lost lore.
The walkers of the lonely path.
We are the Elvenan, and never again shall we submit. And that is the tale of the Dales, stranger.
That guy
Thank
is
you
super
for allowing
ugly.
us to tell it to you.
He's super ugly. Interesting what Sten was talking about. That is that was such an interesting interchange, because on two separate occasions, very close to each other, there were direct parallels to common arguments in relation to this sort of dynamic in culture, clash of cultures and races in specific. So what he's saying, like the Kunari would have improved your people, super racist comment obviously, but it is also a parallel to real comments from racist people who think basically the same thing. But that came right after what he had said as well, which is also pretty racist, but it's mostly ignoring of the situation, that they should have fought to the end and died. Which it's racist because it puts the blame on the Dalish for submitting, and judges them culpable in a situation that they I mean, they were. It's complicated because, of course, he was at the time he was precisely saying that they were culpable in part, but not for those reasons, obviously. But if I didn't actually understand why they were culpable at all, he said, "Oh, because we weren't ready to give up, whatever." Or just like, "Shut up," because it sounded like a specific religion thing, and it was like, seriously, that's not a fault. The Dalish weren't a fault. They can't be a fault for A, not giving up their gods or whatever, and B, although I might have misunderstood that on the A bit, but on B, they're definitely not a fault for not dying in battle rather than being subjugated. Although they were definitely not subjugated, the Dalish weren't. But of course, it is all what Sten also said in regards to that they should have all fought to the last. It's also a parallel to real arguments that racist people make as well regarding similar situations. Anyway, so it's very interesting that he had such a outburst of that immediately. Thank you, I enjoyed it very much.
Perhaps one day you will tell us a tale of your people. A day when you are not guest and stranger, but savior. Now, as I said I would, I can tell you what I know of the Brazilian forest. Do you wish to hear it?
I wonder if he had said that, or I wonder if he checked to see if I was an elf about my people. As far as I can tell, the elves of the cities are not so culturally homogenous as the Dalish are. So maybe is there such a thing as my people in that regard? I don't know. Yes, do tell me about the Brazilian forest. It's not Brazilian forest. I sometimes pronounce it very close to that. It's the Brazilian. Interesting.
Our legends say that before the Shemlin came, the Brazilian forest was a place of our ancestors that predated even our oldest homeland. The people of the Imperium came here and gave the forest its name. If they found traces of our ancestors, we cannot say. If they did, those elves were slain or enslaved. We know only that a great many battles were fought here. These trees grow upon the graves of those who fell, Shemlin and elves both.
What does that have to do with werewolves?
So much death in one place tore the veil into the beyond. The Shemlin know the beyond as the Fade, the place of dreams and spirits. When the veil is torn, spirits pass into our world freely. The legends say that one great spirit possessed the wolf that became Witherfang, who passed its curse of rage onto men and created werewolves.
It's very similar to how The Witcher works. Huh. I mean, although it probably isn't like a commonplace explanation for the existence of supernatural things. In fantasy, I mean. So this Witherfang still exists today?
So Zathrian insists. He says that Witherfang does not age, as the werewolves do. Witherfang is as much spirit as it is beast, and thus it is immortal. Perhaps it cannot even be slain. At the very least, it is old and powerful, much as Zathrian himself.
So there are many spirits in the forest, right?
The forest is said to be haunted. Spirits possess the trees, the wolves, even the bodies of the dead. They yearn for true life, you see.
So there were battles in the forest?
Who can say what value the Imperium placed on this land? And how many elves died here, in slavery? Even the barbarians, who came to overthrow the Imperium, fought and died on this soil.
How many werewolves are there?
No one knows. When the Shemlin lived in these parts, the curse would spread anew to a few of them with each passing year. They would run off into the forest, never to be seen again. Eventually, all the Shemlin left. One assumes the werewolves survive by passing their curse to their offspring. They have had no new blood. Until now, that is.
Have the hunters become werewolves?
It is said that one or two have turned already, though the Keeper denies it. As for the rest, they will either die or turn, unless they are killed out of mercy. I would rather die than become a ravening, soulless beast. Wouldn't you?
Yes, and as such, everybody must die rather than becoming a ravenous beast.
One last warning. The forest is like a thing alive. It changes as it wills, closing paths behind you and opening up new ones. Too many have become lost within, unable to find their way out. Were I you, I would endeavor not to make the forest my enemy.
I will make sure that doesn't happen. The Dales. Many forget when the holy Andraste called out to the oppressed people to rise up. It was elves who answered her first, and I'm gonna read in the wiki about this character. Actually, specifically about the leader of the Dales, the Dalish elves, chastened Dalish elves. Can we see that over here? The name? I don't think we can. Anyway, we're out of time for the day, so we're gonna have to continue having a chat with these fine people next episode. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Dragon Age Origins. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.